Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning when it lights up the sky.
We're back with a Table Talk here on AM 1240, 95.3 FM WJON. We got about 5 minutes of Table Talk, and then we'll do a news update for you and some weather, and then we'll come back with part 2 of the Table Talk show. William's joining me again. We were talking about some newer things going on. And just so people know, sometimes William and I, we do this via Microsoft Teams. So sometimes when we're kind of talking on top of each other, it's because I don't have a camera here in the studio, so we can't see each other. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's a little tough to kind of get that flow down just so they're aware of it. And I should mention, if people have anything they want to talk about on Table Talk, games they're playing, if they're looking for a game group and want to get that out there, or if you have a game group and you're looking to add people and want to tell us where your group plays and how people can get a hold of you, that type of thing. And again, just anything you're doing game-wise, give us a call at 320-252-5852. That's 320-252-5852. Or if you're a little phone shy, you can email me questions or comments to Paul at WJON.com as well. So the next thing we wanted to do here this morning, and we can get this in before the news update, is updates on a couple of games we talked about earlier in our show. It's probably been about a month or so. So quick updates on 3 games. Rebirth by Reiner Knizia. That's live on Kickstarter. So if you're interested in that one, it is live out there now. About $50. Again, that looks like a pretty neat game. DC United, it's not live yet, but they're unveiling additional characters. In fact, they just unveiled another one. So let me get people up to date quick. The original base on their base page was Joker, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They have now, in the updates, added The Flash, Lex Luthor, Darkseid, Aquaman, and just yesterday, Cheetah got added to DC United. So that's what we know is coming in that game. And 20 Strong fans from Chip Theory game, they have announced the Untangled decks are going to launch July 9th. So if you're looking for that, that's when those are going to come up. You can sign up on DC United and 20 Strong to follow them. DC United, you get a little gift if you follow them and then back the project. It's a metal two-face coin. I'm hoping to get Chip Theory on again here the week. It'll be the July 13th, so a couple days after that 20 Strong has launched. We're hoping to get Josh back on to talk about that and any other new projects they have coming up. I'm waiting to hear back from them. So hopefully that'll be coming up. Anything you know of, William? We got about 2 minutes here before news break, so I don't want to get into anything too heavy. Anything kind of newer that you know that's coming up that you're looking at?
Yeah, the one thing I'm looking at is many months away, so we can tackle that later. I'm more interested in the DC Superhero United stuff. I'm pretty excited. They're announcing stuff at a steady clip, so it's a good thing to follow.
Yeah,
if you have listeners that want to follow games and get. It's almost every other day they announce something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like every couple of days it seems like they're like, hey, here's an update, here's a new, and it's pretty much just here's a new hero or villain that we're going to have in it. They haven't said if it's going to be part of an expansion box or if it's part of the base box. The first couple, I'm assuming, are part of the base box because typically that's six heroes and 2 villains. So I'm going to assume that Aquaman and maybe Darkseid and Lex Luthor are going to be in that base box along with Joker, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And then we'll kind of see. I know I had mentioned on one of the boards, we had talked about Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew being in there. Yeah. And I had mentioned in one of the comments about, me and William would like to see this. And a couple people are like, well, I don't know if they're going to get into that kind of minor stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I'd say that was a minor thing. That was a pretty big comic back when my brother was reading it.
Of course they will. Of course they will.
We can hope.
That will be its own box. We can dream.
That one, and like I said, I'm pretty confident if they don't do a Legion of Doom box that, they already have Luthor and Cheetah, so they already kind of have some of those villains coming out. So you'll get, Like I said, if it's not their own box, I'm going to guess that maybe they get most of those characters worked in there for us.
Yeah.
All right, we got about 15 seconds here, and then we'll have an ABC News National and News update for you, and then I'll be right back with a local news update for you as well. You're listening to Table Talk on AM 1240, 95.3 FM, WJON.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. As President Biden announced a three-phase plan that would end fighting between Israel and Hamas, he said one reason that Israel should agree to the idea.
At this point, Hamas no longer is capable of carrying out another October 7th, which is one of Israel's main objectives in this war, and quite frankly, a righteous one.
The first phase would be a ceasefire and a surge of humanitarian aid into Gaza. The second is the return of hostages. It's not clear if the Israeli government will accept the proposal. Former President Donald Trump is vowing to appeal his criminal conviction on 34 counts stemming from falsified business records on payments to cover up an alleged affair with an adult actress. Ticketmaster confirms a data breach that exposed user information to hackers. Its parent company Live Nation says it occurred May 20th, and it's working to mitigate the risk. And for the first time since apartheid ended, the African National Congress lost its majority in South Africa. This is ABC News.
The news starts now. AM 1240 and 95.3 FM, WJON.
Good morning. I'm Paul Hapster at WJON. News time is about 8:32, 61 degrees here in St. Cloud. I'll have your full WJON weather eye forecast coming up after the news. News is brought to you this morning by LFA Financial. A 20-year-old St. Cloud man is charged with sexually assaulting a young girl, filming the encounters and sharing them over social media. Abdi Mohammed Ali is charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct with a child under 14 years old, using a minor in a sexual performance or pornographic work, disseminating pornographic work, and soliciting a child through electronics. According to the criminal complaint filed in Stearns County District Court, the child's mother called police in early April to report the assaults. The girl underwent forensic interviews and described the encounters with Ali. Police said the child sent Ali a message police had the child send Ali a message to pick her up. When he arrived at the location, Ali was arrested. The complaint alleges he admitted to having a sexual relationship with the girl, filming the encounters and sharing the videos of her over his social media. Hopes are dashed on opening the County Road at 75 bridge early thanks to recent rains. Stearns County engineer Jody Teach says the rain has slowed progress on grading the bridge approaches, pushing back concrete paving until next week. Teach says the following week there will be work on the shoulders and guardrail. It has pushed the bridge opening timeframe back to mid-June. They had hoped a dry winter would allow the project to be completed earlier than scheduled, but the wet conditions have slowed some of the work. We told you in early May, crews could get into the river to remove a temporary access earlier than normal. Typically, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources does not allow work around creeks and rivers during the high water season. That means between March 15th and June 15th, crews are not usually allowed to work on the waterways, but because of the dry winter and lack of snowmelt, the DNR granted the county permission to enter the river earlier than normal. But despite that, the wet spring has slowed the work and returned the completion timeline to mid-June. Minnesota's definition of public waters has changed since this year's legislative session ended, allowing more lakes and streams to be likely to qualify for required stretches of vegetation. Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy's Carly Griffith says these stretches, also known as buffer strips, will keep pollutants such as nitrates out of the water, allowing a more protected status.
It really is a real-world issue that impacts communities.
Griffith says the law change stemmed from a legal case about a western Minnesota creek that reached the state Supreme Court, a compromise with agricultural groups seeking certainty for farmers as they planned land use. Minnesota GM Natalie Darwitz says the team is still on cloud nine after winning the inaugural Professional Women's Hockey League championship at Boston. She says they clinched the Walter Cup in someone else's barn and wanted to have a local celebration.
The Minnesota contingent was as loud as they possibly could, and we're excited to bring back the Walter Cup to celebrate with the state of hockey and our incredible fans. So we're really fortunate and appreciate all the support we've had back home this year.
Hundreds of fans attended the celebration Friday night at the XL Energy Center. Darwitz says it was a successful first season for the 6-team PWHL, and the league hopes to expand in the future. WJON News Time is coming up on 8:36, 61 degrees here in St. Cloud. Your WJON Weather Eye forecast is up next.
Grand Canyon University, an affordable private Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country, offering more than 270 programs online. In addition to federal grants and aid, GCU's online students received nearly $130 million in institutional scholarships in 2022. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you may qualify for.